Greetings, family. This is Brother Ron. You are listening to and watching We All Be News, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Can you dig it?
Guess who's back and still black? Guess who's back and still black? Guess who's back and still black? It's your brother from another mother, Brother Ron, or the artist formerly known as Brother Ron. Like I said, the Brother Ron you all knew, he has went on to the great beyond June 21st, 2023. So this is We All Be. We are the reps for Brother Ron. And that's another story all in itself. I hope all is well out there, family. We love you madly. I'm coming to you from We All Be. We All Be in it to win it. Is today's date is August 29th, 2023. And we're doing the show. I'm back. I'm still black, blackish, reddish, black, red, black, Memphis reddish. I'm here. And I thank you all who have inquired about where in the world is Brother Ron? Where has he been? Been on a very interesting journey. But I got a lot of good things while I was gone, to share with you all that I have recently downloaded from the Universal God. And especially this topic tonight, I think is very important. Now, also, this is Black August. To me, it's the unofficial Black History Month. Black August, revolutions are born in Black August. They say when a person dies in August, they are guaranteed to come back reincarnated. I heard that. I don't know if it's true or not. I just hear things, and if it resonates with you, it resonates. I know I lost a lot of my people in the month of August. My paternal grandmother, Grandma Brito, my step grandfather, her husband, Grandpa Brito, they both died in August of 2016. My maternal grandfather, the late great Arthur Taylor Sr., call him Grip. He always had a grip of money. World War II vet, Red Ball Express, all that stuff. Good man. He passed on to the great beyond August 12th of 2005. So August is a very interesting time for me. It's not only the hottest month in the year, but also is a time for a lot of reflection and introspection and dealing with loss. And also Baba D. Gregory, he went on to join the Righteous Ancestors August 19th of 2017. I can't believe it's been 6 years. But I don't miss Baba Gregory like a lot of you miss Baba Gregory. I don't know why y'all missing him because he's omnipresent. As long as there are videos of him out here cursing people out while he's imparting wisdom and knowledge, he always be with us. And also, I have ciphers with Baba Gregory among the other righteous ancestors who watch over me. And I'll talk about that in another show about some of the ancestors that have been helping me this summer, especially. I talk about my grandpa, Arthur Taylor. I talked about Sister Thea Bowman, even Sister Wilhelmina. I went to her monastery outside of Kansas City back in July on my way to bury my great aunt up in Saginaw, Michigan. We made a stop. Me and my mom made a stop, Dr. Hurd, in Kansas City. Went to Gower, Missouri. I don't call it Missouri or Misery. I call it Misery, state of misery. Like an inside joke for me. But anyway, they exhumed this Sister Wilhelmina. Her body is said to be incorrupt. She didn't decompose like they thought she was going to decompose, right? No, she was buried in a simple wooden coffin. This Black woman, she died around the age of 95, I believe, back in 2019 or 2020, something like that. We'll do a show about that. But as the sisters of the order that she founded, exhumed her body, they found out her body was very much well preserved and intact. And it's like, this was a simple wooden casket out in the country, hot summers and all this stuff. And even when I think the casket was exposed and had cracks in it, and it even had some water in the, and her body's well preserved. And we went to a pilgrimage to see her. It was a remarkable experience, and I'll talk about that. I know there's 3 nuns I know of, 3 Black nuns. They watching over me. That's how I feel about it. They're watching. My Aunt Nan was a nun as well. So I got 3 Black nuns watching over me. And that's another story. But anyway, living God is real. We're going to talk about that. But we're going to talk about tonight's topic. Also, August 29th, right? August 29th is a phenomenal day or date, whatever. August 29th. You know, some of the greatest music legends were born August 29th. This is Black August, right? You got Charlie Parker, Yardbird Parker, born Kansas City, Kansas. You know, arguably the greatest alto saxophonist, if not the greatest jazz musician who ever lived. Was born August 29th. You got Michael Jackson, who was born August 29th, arguably the greatest entertainer of all time. You got Dinah Washington. Dinah Washington. Dinah, instead of Carolina. Dinah Washington. Well, my favorite, arguably, you could be said she's probably could be considered the greatest singer. I mean, y'all talk about Whitney and Aretha and Mahalia, but Dinah Washington was phenomenal in terms of her diversity of ways. She could just sing all types of ways, man. Amazing singer, died too young. I think she missed sleeping pills with alcohol, so it was like a tragic, unfortunate death. I think she was like 39 when she passed on back in '63, if I'm not mistaken. She was married at one time to one of the greatest football players of all time, Night Train Lane, played with Detroit Tigers, I believe. Y'all correct me, I don't care. He was a Hall of Fame NFL football player, one of her husbands, right? So you got other people born on August 29th that I can't think of them in my mind right now, but also a lot of your major hurricanes, right? Hurricane Katrina happened when? August 29th, right? August 29th, 2005. I remember it like it was yesterday because, like, you know, everybody was talking about the MTV Music Awards around that time, right? And Suge Knight got shot or stabbed at a club with Chris Brown or something. You know, all this stuff. And then Katrina happened, and this is before social media. So it was like a lot of crazy stuff. Like Bill O'Reilly telling my people was being cannibals less than 24 hours after Katrina, right? And, you know, you was just eating Popeyes the day before. You was just eating Popeyes hours before. Now you're a cannibal. And people believe this stuff. And people trying to say, well, they looting. But if your city flooded underwater, it's submerged underwater, is it looting or is it survival? And then you had stories about white people going coon hunting. See, the Honorable Representative Cynthia McKinney talked about this, and they call her a crazy person. She was really the first official to really counter the so-called 9/11 narrative, and it cost her political career. She advocated against. She was anti-Zionism, the state of Israel, how it treated Palestinians, and she got, man. Cynthia McKinney is one of our unsung she-rules that we don't know as black people weird. And I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna talk about why I'm not trying to, but Cynthia was talking about what they were doing to black people down there. People thought she was crazy. So you making this stuff up? No, they're not doing that. They're not. But then you remember no black folks walk across the bridge and they got turned away from Gretna Parish. Is it Gretna Parish? I don't know. One of them parishes, white folks turn away all these black folks leaving this soup bowl, this drowning soup bowl called New Orleans. They were trying to survive, and you got white people saying, "Go back and drown, go back and die, nigga, die." All right, basically, okay. So you remember about the Desert Bridge situation where police officers was killing black people. Remember about the brother who was killed by police and burnt up in the car. All this stuff was happening. It's people still unaccounted for from Hurricane Katrina, right? You still got people unaccounted for. See, this is why I know black people, we don't got no power. Everybody talking about football. I remember it was a young brother while I worked as a janitor, a young engineer guy. Good brother, young brother. And we was on the elevator. And he said, "Man, are you ready for some football?" I said, "Brother, every day is a game 7 in the game of life. Every day is a game 7. Every day is a Super Bowl. You win, you go home, or you die. So this is the ultimate. Living life is the ultimate sport. It's not watching baseball or football or basketball and all this crap. It's living your life to the fullest. That's the ultimate sport. That's the game 7. Every day is a game 7. You wake up, you take for granted when you walk out that door, you coming back home hours later to lay your head on your pillow. Lay my head on your pillow. You take that for granted. You don't know. Because one day will be the day that you get eliminated. So every day is a game 7. That's how I look at life. So I had to come with this message because this is fierce urgency of now, of the time. But think about like even this hurricane going on right now. What's August 29th? Look up how many hurricanes hit on August 29th. Check that out. And think about what Baba Dick Gregory talked about, how hurricanes will start from where? From the western coast of Africa, from the western coast of Africa, right? And work his way, tracing the Atlantic slave trade and da. There must be something to that. You know, people think that you look at these Hollywood movies and fairy tales, that there's no such thing as mermaids or lake spirits and stuff. That stuff is real. Think about Lake Lanier down in Georgia, Georgia. Think about that. Lake Lanier, right? Stuff is real. And Hollywood gets you desensitized to the fact that there's zombies and werewolves and vampires. I have encountered people who can shapeshift. I have seen people faces change before my eyes. I have seen people eyes go black. I have seen people voices change before my eyes. This is not no Exorcist movie. This is real life. But anyway, let's talk about what we're going to talk about tonight, because this is what y'all here for. Like, what the hell is Brother Ron talking about? But like Baba Dick Gregory told me so many years ago, when the universe chooses you and put those magic glasses on you, you cannot force anybody to see what you see. Do you see what I see? I can't force y'all to see what I see, but I can share with you all what I see, and I will encourage you all to think for yourself and to do your own research. Something came to me as I was reflecting. I'm healing. I'm in the healing process. Interesting story, long story, not for here. Like I said, the universe, I started downloading things from the universe. And one thing that came to my mind is that it's very disgusting to me how they're treating former President Donald Trump. Whatever you may think about the man personally, I don't know him personally. I don't know him. But I do know that it's weird that people who love this man maybe 10 years ago based on his reality TV show, that the Apprentice, that America loved this guy, that rappers, they idolize Donald Trump. I think there's more songs about Donald Trump than any other person in history of hip hop. This is the 50th anniversary year of hip hop, supposedly hip hop culture, right? But Donald Trump probably one of the most talked about people, or more songs have been done about Donald Trump probably than anybody. I mean, I can remember when Memphis Man came out with his album, Judgment Day. Is that Judgment Day that came out back in 98? Was that 98? To Kyle. And he had a skit with Donald Trump calling, saying, hey, Memphis, we waiting for the album to drop. Like he's at a party, whatever. Maybe it's a listening party. But he's encouraging Memphis Man to drop that album as soon as possible. That's Donald Trump. And then you got rappers talking about Donald Trump. He was living large. Donald Trump, y'all call him a narcissist, but he's really the American dream. He's living the American dream. He's very boastful, very arrogant, very confident, got swagger. That's rap. That's hip hop. He's from Queens. Think about all the rap groups and legends from Queens, man. Run DMC, LL Cool J, 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj. He's from the right place, and he's orange. You know what I'm saying? Black folks love orange drinks and stuff, Fanta and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Kool-Aid, Jungle Juice. Donald Trump is a hood star. Rightfully so. And it's funny how people flip the script now. Oh, he's poison. Like Snoop Dogg and them, they were loving Donald Trump at one point, doing roasts with Donald Trump, and now all of a sudden he's persona non grata. But to me, Snoop Dogg is like the Jesse Jackson of hip hop. I just thought about that today. I said Snoop Dogg is like Jesse Jackson singing, because he had more 9 lives than a cat, man. I just, everybody around Snoop dead. Snoop is like the elder, right? He's telling the story. It's like Jesse. Everybody around Jesse gone. King gone. Fred Hampton gone. Jesse had the blood on his sweater, on his turtleneck, going back to Chicago. Chicago, that Tolling town, right? And Memphis was on lockdown, but Jesse got a plane to get out of Memphis while Memphis was on lockdown, from my understanding. Y'all correct me if Memphis was not on lockdown on the martial law. They got Jesse. It's like around me when 9/11 happened, how Bin Laden's family was able to get out of the country, whatever, when the United States was on total lockdown, supposedly, right? So you got, Jesse, he eulogized Fred Hampton at Fred Hampton's funeral. I don't think Fred and them really cared for Jesse like that. But, you know, Jesse, he got the idea for the Rainbow Coalition from who? From Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton was the cat that came in with the Rainbow Coalition. He was talking about organizing the street tribes or gangs of Chicago. You know, the Weatherman Underground, the Students for Democratic Society, the Young Lords, the Black Peace Stone Nation. You know, he was talking about, you know, that's my Rainbow Coalition. That's my street tribes, man. So he got all this stuff. And I'm not saying Snoop. Snoop is one of my favorite rappers of all time. You know, he's in my top 10. He's number 10 for me. Tupac is number 1. Snoop is number 10. They the bookends. Snoop is arguably, you can make the case that Snoop is probably the most famous rapper of all time. But I would say, you know, Tupac is, you know, bigger than rap and hip hop, and that's another show for another day. Tupac is actually what, you know, what Shakespeare is to English. That's what Tupac is to hip hop and rap. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all don't understand. Because if y'all understood the contribution that Pac made, like Biggie, baby, baby, and yay. Tupac said baby, baby, and yay. And Ice Cube and Biggie, they in my top 5 too. They took, a lot of folks took from Tupac and not give him proper credit and got the nerve to say he wasn't lyrical. Tupac would have been comfortable with Smokey Robinson in Motown. He'd have been comfortable with Scott Joplin. Tupac would have been comfortable with Robert Johnson. Tupac can write lyrics. He write anthems. Tupac is up there with Curtis Mayfield and Sam Cooke and Marvin Gaye when it comes to lyrics. You people are making up crap. And it's sad. You know, I'm going to say another thing about Tupac before I get deep into this. Of all the rappers, they had something to say about Donald Trump. Tupac said it back in the time. When everybody was making rap songs about Donald Trump this and referencing Donald Trump, Tupac was very critical of Donald Trump. There's an MTV clip of Tupac talking about Donald Trump and poverty and poor people in this country. And yet y'all call Tupac fake today. He's an actor, right? Well, the world's a stage. Who said that? Was that Shakespeare? Tupac is the Shakespeare of hip hop. Enough said. I'm sorry. I just, you know, Tupac ain't nobody like him. He's phenomenal unto itself. Okay. But anyway, let's talk about Donald Trump and Jack Johnson, right? Let's talk about the Donald and Jack Johnson, because I don't want to be too long on here, but I just want to warm it up. And Screw Tube is still trying to screw me, but that's all right. It's all good. It's all right. It's all good. Yeah. It's all good, baby. It's all good. It's all good. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. All right. Yeah. We're going to get all through this, man. I got so much to say. I've been holding and balling in because y'all, I went through something. Y'all don't understand. And people make fun of people that try to share their vulnerabilities, but your vulnerability is not a weakness or strength. I mean, I'm a real person. And you can't use nothing against me that I already own it. If I own this, why I'm reclaiming my narrative, reclaiming my energy, reclaiming my spot. Ain't nobody like Brother Ron to do what Brother Ron does. Ain't nobody got the capacity to do what I do. And I'm just now recognizing that in my 40s. I've always been looking for other folks to do what I do. They don't do it. They don't know how to do it. And I make it look too damn easy. So it's taken for granted. So let me just put this out here and call it nice. I get through feeding the feeder, because I'll eat some beef stew in the middle of doing this. But I'm gonna feed y'all before I get through finish my beef stew. How about that? And we got so much stuff coming. Ain't nobody like me, man. Ain't nobody like me. And Dick Gregory knew that, but he was waiting for me to figure it out. And I figured it out after going through some crazy stuff this summer. But anyway, let's go. Let's go into this thing. I hope y'all can hear me. The words come out of my mouth. I know it's Mercury retrograde. I ain't looking in the comment section. I'm trying to do this show. But y'all can't support the movement. Like I said, they demonetized my channel. YouTube don't want me, Screw 2 don't want to make no money off of my property. They're making money off of my property, but they don't want me to make no money off my content. That's crazy. That's insane. But God is good. God is good. Yes, he is. Won't he do it? Yes. If a picture was worth $7 million, that would be the picture. Well, you know, Donald Trump, of course, that infamous, famous mugshot, that made him over $7 million. Donald Trump is a marketing genius. You understand? Just like Jack Johnson was a marketing genius. And people say, what's the connection, Brother Ron, with Jack Johnson and Donald Trump? I'm going to show y'all. Ain't going to be too deep, because I want y'all to do some research on your own. But I just want to, you know, pick your brain, feed y'all a little bit. Feed me. Y'all said feed me? Feed me. Okay, well, here's the thing. Donald Trump was the only president with the balls and swagger to pardon a dead black man. They've been dead for decades, right? Jack Johnson died in an auto accident in Kakalaka, North Carolina, June 10th, 1946, right? Barack Obama, y'all hero, your messiah. He had ample chances to pardon Jack Johnson. Oh, now Screw 2 want to mess with my dang. They want to mess with my screen. They want to mess with my. Can y'all hear me? And I'm coming in clear? Let me check this out. I see Screw Tube out here messing with me. They constantly mess with Brother Ron. What? Why do they fear me? Everybody else can make money. Why do they fear Brother Ron? Why can't I speak my truths, huh? Okay, now I'm back, right? So Donald Trump pardoned Jack Johnson back in May of 2018. And y'all say Donald Trump hate black people, whether dead or alive. Donald Trump did something that George W. Bush, Barack Obama could have done, but they didn't do. And he pardoned Jack Johnson. May 2018. The thing about why I started thinking about Donald Trump and Jack Johnson is that people love to hate both of these guys. These guys are very successful and very good at what they do. They were very great, or Donald is still great at marketing themselves, of polarizing people, and getting results, of getting what they want. They're very great and gifted at that. Jack Johnson was born March 31st, 1878 in Galveston, Texas. Donald Trump was born June 14th, 1946 in New York, I believe in Queens. And when did Jack Johnson die? Was it June 10th, 1946? And when was the Donald born? He was born June 14th, 1946. So Donald Trump was born 4 days after Jack Johnson passed on, right? And nobody dies, and there's no such thing. Death is not real. And that's another thing. It's just another phase, Tupac ain't dead. He ain't dead. You're right. He ain't dead. And that's another story. But Jack Johnson, he wanted to be treated like a white man in his lifetime because he was the first black heavyweight champion in the world. And he was one of the most famous people on the planet at the time of his prime. But he did not get such treatment, right? So maybe God said, okay, Jack, you want to do it the white way. Well, let's make you a white man. Let's send you back. It's like that Chris Rock movie. How Chris Rock dies or whatever. That Chris Rock movie where he came back as a white man or something, as a wealthy white man. Whatever. Y'all get this. It's a Hollywood thing. But I think God got a great sense of humor. And he sent Jack Johnson back to be Donald Trump. And I look at the fact that Donald was born 4 days after Jack died. Then you start, it's this thing called life path numbers, right? Your life path number, right? What's a life path number? It's the number you get when you add up your birth date. Like you add up all the numbers in your birth date. Like I said, Jack Johnson was born, March 31st, 1878. So you add all that up, you break it down to the simplest number. So that number will be 4 for Jack Johnson. Donald Trump was born June 14th, 1946. You add up the numbers, right? Break it down to the simplest number. His life path number is a 4. They both life path 4s. Now, what is a life path 4? What's the characteristic of a life path 4? Well, let's look at this. Because I ain't going to be on here all night. I just want to provide food for thought. And it's been on my mind. And I got a lot of things I'm thinking about. I'm a thought provocateur. Anybody think like me. But I want to show why I say. Life path 4. What is life path 4? What are the characteristics of a life path 4? Let me see. I'm trying to find a good one. It said people with life path number 4 are often seen as builders and worker of society. If your life path is a 4, you are likely more determined, serious, practical, disciplined, and hardworking. Down to earth and grounded are terms that are probably often used to describe you. You find hard work rewarding and don't look for easy way to the top or to finding success. Not only do you work hard for yourself, but you expect the same from those around you. Those with life path number 4 tend to be organized and like to put things back in their proper place. It is one of their strong points, and they feel better able to tackle challenges if they have a solid plan in place beforehand. They tend to be set in their ways and are drawn to leading an orderly life. Home is their haven, and if their home environment appears sloppy and unkempt, it is a sign that a life path 4 person is not doing well. They are usually very cerebral and need to find ways to relax their minds. Otherwise, great ideas live and die in their heads. They have a strong sense of right and wrong, are very honest, and value honesty in others. Fours' dreams are based in reality, and they never question that you will have to work hard to make them come true. Loyal and very dependable, they make an excellent friend or partner, but may have just a small circle of friends. On the negative side, fours can be so set in their ways that they can often come across as stubborn, rigid, or too serious. They also have a tendency to overlook tact and let their true feelings be known to all those around them, which can sometimes turn other people away from them. Although practical and good planners, fours are extremely cautious and don't deviate much from their master plan. And because of this, can sometimes miss opportunities that arise because they don't act on them quickly enough. Well, I know a lot of y'all saying, well, Donald Trump is not honest. He's misleading. He's like the gaslight. He's narcissistic. Da 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 da. I will beg to differ. I like what Dave Chappelle said about Donald Trump in one of his stand-ups. He's an honest liar. He tells you the truth, but he tells it in a way that you can't handle the truth. But he doesn't let you know how he feels. He doesn't sugarcoat. He has no filters. He says the things that people think behind closed doors or think in their minds, but are afraid to share in public or and whatever. So Donald Trump really, he is not an issue like that. His problem is that he's too honest in a place that really respects lie more than honesty. Lying is more respected in politics than honesty. And Donald Trump is too damn honest. And that cost him. And he brags about it a lot. And the thing about it is like I remember his run in 2016. He said the game was rigged, right? The game was rigged. And people kept on saying, well, you benefit from the game. He never said he didn't benefit. He told you he benefited from not paying a certain amount of taxes, that he was able to file for bankruptcy in his businesses, but never filed for any personal bankruptcy. Like his family never went hungry or destitute because he filed for bankruptcy to protect his business interests. It wasn't that he filed for bankruptcy because he was broke. He filed for bankruptcy to protect his business interests because it's the way the system worked. And then y'all blame him for redlining and housing discrimination. All he did was took advantage of the things the system already had in place for him to take advantage of, him and his father. So I don't blame Donald Trump. Donald Trump did not invent racism or redlining or all this other stuff. Y'all, he did not invent lying. He benefited from those things. And the thing about it was, I think he was trying to let people know, hey, the game is rigged. Let me show you how I benefited from this rigged game. Because anytime you can file for bankruptcy on your casino and make a profit, you know it's rigged. He knows it's rigged. But the thing about it is people, like even with the contract, he don't pay his contractors. Well, in certain countries, I talked to a guy from New York, a businessman from New York, and he's a Donald Trump supporter. And he said something that was very interesting. He said, when people say that Donald Trump don't always pay his contractors or people like that, they're not looking at the fact that when the contractor signed a contract with Donald and his organization, that they had certain things in place saying if you don't have this, let's say you promised to have this building done by a certain date. And when a certain date came and passed, you didn't have it completed. So they might have had a thing in there saying for every day that you're tardy on completing this task, we're going to subtract a certain amount of money from the original agreement. They're probably written little letters, but it's in there. So I'm not trying to be an apologist for Donald Trump. I'm saying most of us don't know how to do business. Most of us, we say we're capitalists, but we're really consumers. You're not really a capitalist because like you don't know what it is. Dick Gregory had a quote about how, he said entertainers, they love what they do so much, a lot of them will do it for free. You will never hear a real businessman or capitalist say they'll do anything for free that they're good at. Now, they may give away stuff as a tax write-out. It might be something that incentives. Like I tell people all the time, there's a difference between being a humanitarian and a philanthropist. Humanitarian actually share their resources and gifts and stuff because of love of people, love of humanity. You could hate people and be a philanthropist. You could hate a lot of people. You could kill a lot of people and give away money for peaceful initiatives. Your businesses could cause cancer, but yet donate so much money to St. Jude and stuff like that, because it's good tax write-out, is good publicity. But your business that you made all this money off of probably gave a lot of people cancer, but yet you could write a big check to St. Jude or the Mayo Clinic. And oh yeah, here go 10 million. You made 10 billion off of people getting killed off your products, but you'll give back 10 or 50 million. Oh, get it. It's hard for a rich man to get into heaven for a reason, right? So don't blame Donald Trump. It's like blaming gangster rap for American history. Now, American history is a long ass gangster rap album. You talking about these gangster rap, but American history is Andrew Jackson is a gangster rapper to me. So anyway, with that said, Donald Trump, Jack Johnson, anytime when Jack Johnson was when he was the heavyweight champion, when he was the most despised black man on the planet, there would be riots, right? Riots would erupt. Like Jack Johnson would win, but black people would lose. You know what I'm saying? Jack Johnson, I'm winning. Black people losing. I think Louis Armstrong, when he was growing up in New Orleans and all, they talked about how, they was afraid when Jack Johnson would win. They got to run for cover. White folks get mad. White folks get rowdy. So y'all talking about some insurrection stuff. But every time Jack Johnson would win, black America caught hell. But black folks still had a love for Jack Johnson. Not all black people, because he was not considered a part of the boule. Jack Johnson was from the gutter. He was from Galveston, Texas. He was from the bottom, man. He came out of his folks were former slaves. This is where Juneteenth was created, in Galveston, Texas. That's the irony. Jack Johnson was this is 1908, right? He was born in 78. The Civil War was over 65. So 43 years later, after the Civil War ended, right? Supposedly. 43 years later, if I'm getting my math right, Jack Johnson became heavyweight champion of the world. First black heavyweight champion of the world, right? Son of Galveston, Texas, where Juneteenth was originated. Think about what I'm saying. I just thought about that. Juneteenth. I actually went to the house where the proclamation was read, the Juneteenth proclamation, whatever. I mean, when they released all the slaves, letting slaves know they were free in Texas. I went to that spot in Galveston. Yeah. So that's fascinating to think about. The son of former slaves becomes the heavyweight champion of the world 43 years after the Civil War. Son of Galveston, Texas. I'm just processing that right now. And Jack Johnson, how he came up was hard, man. I know a lot of y'all wrestling. Y'all love wrestling. Y'all love wrestling fans. Y'all know the Battle Royale. Y'all know that, y'all think about Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant back in the day, Roddy Piper and all them cats. But the Battle Royale really was something that started when you had black men or black boys and men with blindfolds on, fighting the ring, trying to knock each other out. The last man standing was the winner. And what the white folks would do, they would throw money on the ground and stuff like that. And while the black man, they was blindfolded, just punching at each other, punch at the air, punch at each other, to the last man standing. And who was last man standing, they received the booty. They received all the money that was on the floor. And that's actually, I believe, that's an opening scene in Ralph Ellison's masterwork, The Invisible Man. Read that book by Ralph Ellison. It's worth reading, The Invisible Man. And also in the James Brown biopic, they reference, I believe, the Battle Royale. Did I think they reference it? I know in the Buddy Bolden movie they did. I ain't seen that James Brown movie in a minute. So I'm just saying, that's a real thing. That's how Jack Johnson honed his skills, by knocking out other black men and boys coming up in Galveston, Texas. Donald Trump also had to be cutthroat in his business. He had to do what he had to do to get on top, you know. Maybe a little bit like Wolf of Wall Street style, maybe not. Like Gordon Gekko on that Wall Street, Gordon Gekko, right? Wall Street movie. Now I'm getting lost in the sauce because, like, let me just talk about, you know, Donald Trump also, it was a woman that brought Jack Johnson down. White women brought Jack Johnson down. White women prostitutes brought Jack Johnson down. White porn star Stormy Daniels brought, or they try to make it like she brought Donald Trump down, right? So both were entrapped by white women of the lowest, sex workers, right? So they both was entrapped by sex workers by the powers that be. Stormy Daniels for Donald Trump, Jack Johnson, women of the night, sex workers, whatever, porn stars, sex workers, same difference. Like, and it's funny how they try to make Stormy Daniels like she's some Marilyn Monroe or something like that. I mean, our standards have become so degraded and low. I mean, it's ridiculous, and people think that's a scandal. And how is a scandal when a man paid for consensual whatever touching? It was consensual, from my understanding. He paid her. What's the big damn deal? But like, people get obsessed. Now, if it was like a male prostitute, a male porn star that Donald Trump was with, he'd probably be president right now. He probably would. They will allow him to serve his second term, because this country is very strange about these type of things. It's only a scandal when it's hetero, or it's like underage. Maybe underage and hetero. That's when it's a sex scandal. When it's like, anything else is like whatever. It could be bestiality. It's not a scandal. Oh, whatever. Goats need love too. All that bullshit. But anyway, so they use white women to entrap both of these guys, try to bring them low. Matter of fact, let me read this. I guess New York Times article about the pardon that Donald Trump did for Jack Johnson, if I can find it. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. They both life path fours, right? I might read another definition and look on what a life path four is. I get a better understanding. But when you do your life path, all you're doing is adding up the numbers of your birth date. That's all it is. I'm a life path 9. I epitomize a life path 9. Very much so. I'm not bragging on myself, but I am a life path 9, and I embody a life path 9. No doubt. But let me find a thing. Donald Trump, Jack Johnson pardon. And shout out to Sylvester Stallone. He played a part in helping getting Jack Johnson pardon. Now, Obama could have did this. Obama scared his own black shadow, though. Obama is very disappointing, and y'all love Obama. I don't care for Obama, man. Really don't. I went to both his inaugurations, spent thousands of dollars going in debt to both, standing out in the cold for Obama. Obama left, and he left us out in the cold. You black folks, y'all Donald Trump did. Donald Trump did more for black people in 4 years than Obama did in 8. He would have did more if they allowed him to serve his second term, because Biden didn't get no 80 million votes. But it's like the New York Times article. This is dated May 24th, 2018. Trump pardons Jack Johnson, heavyweight boxing champion. For more than 100 years, Jack Johnson's legend as the first black heavyweight boxing champion has been undisputed, but his legacy has been tarnished by a racially tainted criminal conviction. His battles against white opponents in the ring and outside of it gave rise to the Great White Hope play and movie, and he came to be lionized as a barrier breaker. But the criminal conviction from 1913 that most will find abhorrent today for transporting a white woman across state lines hunted Johnson well after his death in 1946 and motivated politicians and celebrities for years to advocate for a pardon, however symbolic. On Thursday in the Oval Office, Johnson posthumously found an unexpected champion, President Trump. Although his own record on civil rights has come under question, often harshly, Mr. Trump, flanked by boxing champions and Sylvester Stallone, the actor who brought the case to his attention, signed an order pardoning Johnson. The president called Johnson a truly great fighter who had a tough life but served 10 months in federal prison for what many view as a racially motivated injustice. Mr. Trump said the conviction took place during a period of tremendous racial tension in the United States. Mr. Trump has often found himself in the center of fiery debates over race and sports and civil rights in general, repeatedly admonishing NFL players, a majority of them black, who have knelt during the national anthem at games to protest racism and police brutality. Hours before he announced the pardon, he told Fox News that he agreed with the NFL's new policy requiring players to stand for the national anthem or remain in the locker room before games, saying of those who did not stand, maybe you shouldn't be in the country. The president also came under sustained criticism several months after making remarks sympathetic to white supremacists after a daily rally by them in Charlottesville, Virginia. This isolated is a good gesture to right a miscarriage of justice, said Stephanie Brown James, a Democratic political consultant. However, there are a lot of current modern day issues that could be addressed, that he could address as the living president that he chooses not to. I'm just personally tired of symbolism. Ain't no black person in this country tired of symbolism. Are you ready for some football? Yeah, y'all ain't tired of those symbolism. Stop it. Farce on Washington 2023 is an example of that. But anyway, still in Johnson, Mr. Trump found a way in one swoop of the pen to stake a claim on civil rights and rebuke his predecessor, Barack Obama, for not taking action on an issue that seemed in line with the principles of fighting injustice that he championed. Though other presidents passed up the chance to pardon him, Mr. Trump noted that the last resolution in Congress calling for the pardon was while Mr. Obama was in office in 2015. They couldn't get the president to sign it, Mr. Trump said. A spokesman for Mr. Obama declined to comment Thursday. But in late 2009, Robert Gibbs, the president's press secretary, told reporters that the Justice Department had recommended against the pardon. Man been dead since 1946. A former Obama administration official said Thursday that the Justice Department made the recommendation because it was their policy to focus on grants of clemency that could still have a positive effect on people who are still living. The same Justice Department that will not bring charges against Carolyn Bryant for the kidnap, torture, and murder of Emmett Lewis Till. That Justice Department, the Just Us Department, all right? In a television interview, Mr. Obama's Attorney General, Eric H. Holder, Jr., had also raised the fact that there was a history of domestic violence accusations against Johnson. So it was a history of domestic violence accusations against Johnson. Well, where's the evidence? Like Thelonious Monk had a song called The Evidence. Where's the evidence? Where's the New York Times article about Jack Johnson being a domestic violence situation? He is a boxer. I just like, Eric Holder, was he the one that had that speech when he became attorney general that we don't deal with the issue of race, we're a nation of cowards? Biggest coward going, and his sister-in-law was Vivian Malone, who helped integrate Alabama University, I believe. But that was her name, Vivian Malone. That's his sister-in-law. They helped integrate the University of Alabama. Y'all help correct me. I'm not gonna look this stuff up. I'm tired. I know stuff, but y'all need to learn some stuff. I'm tired of this goofy stuff that people do. Man, so-and-so said this, and he had a documentary about this and this. Now look this stuff up. Because they making up stuff as they go along. Eric Hold up here, a legal person. Oh, history. Where's the proof? Did he go to jail or prison? Did he serve 10 months in federal prison for domestic violence? Or did he serve 10 months in federal prison for screwing white women and taking them across state lines? They made a law to get Jack Johnson. It's like they're making up rules to get President Trump. They trumped up charges in both cases of President Trump and Jack Johnson. And y'all too emotional. Y'all like if Drake and Carl Thomas and T-Pain and every emo rapper made an album, this is how y'all feel about Trump. To me, it's disgusting. Man up or go home. A lot of y'all is weak-minded. Y'all forget about all the things that the real-life Calvin Candy, a.k.a. Joe Biden, has done to you all, to your families, through his policies for several generations. What? Generations, 20 years, right? Joe Biden been a politician for almost 60 years. This man did 3 generations worth of damage to black people. And yet y'all still, if you don't vote Democrat, you ain't black. Well, you ain't Uncle Steven, nigga. Yeah, warm my feet up, nigga. Warm my soup in my feet, nigga. Warm my teeth up, nigga. How you Negro sound? Y'all not political savvy at all. It's disgusting. You got the nerve to quote Malcolm when Malcolm warned you about these white liberals and Democrats and these plantation bosses. He warned us. He lived the last 2 years of his life trying to warn black folks about the hell these white liberals got in store for us. You up there talking about we shall overcome. You don't even know what you've been through. You're not a student of history, because really, I'm gonna get back to the book. I'm saying, why celebrate the March on Washington when you could have been celebrating? Y'all talk about the fade in the water. See, black folks so weird to me. Y'all talk about, well, I'm not my ancestors. You wish you was your ancestors, fool. You don't got the courage, the balls, the swagger, the testicular fortitude to be your ancestors. Jack Johnson was a man. Whatever you may think about his dating choices and who he dated, that was a man. That was a man. He came through Jim Crow. He came through lynchings. He came through race riots. Y'all talking about George Floyd ain't on the level of Jack Johnson. No disrespect to the dead. But y'all elevate George Floyd like y'all should be elevating Jack Johnson. Y'all like being defeated. Because what I'm saying is, y'all celebrate what happened in Montgomery. That's all good, but shit, that's not, our ancestors threw down in Black August, man. Man, I'll never get tired talking about the 24th Infantry, Buffalo soldiers down in Camp Logan outside of Houston. How they marched on the city and shot up Houston, killed a whole bunch of police. Because they were being disrespected by the police. Police were disrespecting the black community in Houston. Police disrespected the black woman. Police disrespected one of the black soldiers, Charlie Baltimore. I ain't talking about the rapper Charlie. I'm talking about this dude named Charles Baltimore. They were beat up by the police. His brothers in arms thought he was a dead man. They said, enough of this bitch. Enough of this stuff, right? Took their guns from Camp Logan and marched on Houston and shot up the town. Yeah, Houston, Texas. Yes, they shot up the town. Killed about a handful of cops. Largest murder trial in U.S. history. Civil liberties trampled on. No proper legal representation. See, in a situation like that, a court martial of that magnitude, it supposed to got a presidential review. And Woodrow Wilson was an honorary Klansman. But EV thought it was too vicious how they did those brothers. They hung a lot of them black men, not telling them when they were going to hang them. Now, if you look at the Roots, the Next Generation, I ain't talking about the original Roots TV show, but they did a second installment called Roots, the Next Generation. They did a dramatization of these brave black men walking to the gallows, walking to being hung, singing spirituals. Now, you can read primary sources about the white soldiers that had to guard these men. These were men. These were cowards. Y'all talking about, I'm not my answer. You wish, nigga, you don't even know the history. You're a buffoon. Y'all celebrate some drunk fighting, like, okay, world star hip hop stuff. I'm telling you, this is revolutionary. These brothers singing spirituals, and they hung them. These white soldiers crying because they said, man, these guys don't deserve this. They stood their ground. Y'all talking about George Zimmerman and Castle Doctrine. These brothers were not mutiny. They did not betray the country. They took an oath to protect the country against enemies, both foreign and domestic. They did their job. Now the Army, 100-something years later, the Army said, you know what? We effed up. These guys were not in the wrong. We messed up. Now they admitted that they were done wrong and that they had a reason to respond in the way they responded. That happened back in August of 1917, but also with the march, the March on Washington, right? Why not celebrate the victory of the Washington Race War of 1919? When the government attacked black people in Washington, D.C., when the Washington Post spread rumors and innuendos about black men supposedly raping white women and all this crap. This is the Washington Post, the one that owned by Jeff Bezos. You owe us reparations, my man. Washington Post owed black people, at least in D.C., reparations and their families for the trauma. Well, you had military. You had the U.S. Navy white men. You had the white Marines, had the Army, had the D.C. police. They're out there hunting black people like they did in Katrina, in the aftermath of Katrina. They're going coon hunting. They're shooting black people, lynching black people. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black History Week, Negro History Week, it became Black History Month. This man had to hide in the alley. He saw a black man lynched before his eyes in Washington, D.C. back in the summer of 1919. This man hid for hours in fear of what he saw, what they did to that black man. And guess what? Black folks said, enough of this BS. Woodrow Wilson, you see black folks getting killed, murdered, mutilated, massacred on your streets, Mr. President. The one who endorsed birth of a nation, saying it was like writing history of lightning. The one that black folks voted for. Joe Biden is like a Woodrow Wilson to me, because black folks voted for this guy. I mean, not just, you had Ida B. Wells, William Monroe Trotter, W.E.B. Du Bois. You had some of the black elite vote for this evil cracker. Just like y'all voted for Biden. And got the nerve to talk about, that's how I feel about it. But anyway, Woodrow Wilson didn't stop it. Until black folks started fighting back. You had school teachers, World War I veterans. You had brothers and sisters doing drive-bys down the streets of D.C., killing a lot of white people, soldiers and stuff. And you had black folks on top of buildings, sniping white people that was trying to kill them. And then Woodrow Wilson said, time out. Wait a minute. Time out. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up. Hey, next episode. Yay. Smoke crackers every day. No, I'm joking. But now that happened, why not celebrate that? When black folks stood up against this racist ass government and said enough is enough of this bullshit in the nation's capital. They're like, it never happened. That happened. Because when they talk about the red summer, they always start in Chicago. But the black dude trying to get on the beach and drowned in Lake Michigan because the white folks won't let him on the beach and he got a cramp, but they start throwing stones and he drowned. They don't talk about what happened in D.C. for a reason. That somebody make a movie about that. All these slave movies y'all make movies like that too. They talk about the Washington Race War in 1919. Like white folk be talking about Pearl Harbor, and white folk be talking about the Civil War reenactments. Reenact that. Why don't y'all in D.C. reenact that every year instead of going about this farce on Washington BS? There was even no real y'all mind. I'm getting loud. Lord have mercy. They're gonna keep me out. In y'all mind, y'all think that a protest is supposed to be peaceful, that a protest, you need a permit to protest. What kind of bullshit is this? Protest is not about having consent from the motherfuckers who's oppressing you or stifling your voice. Y'all some goddamn fools. Look, today is Charlie Parker's birthday, right? In the interview that Charlie, and I'm all over the place. Fuck y'all. I mean, I'm joking. I love y'all so much. Yeah, I'm all over the place. But here, I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to close it out. I love y'all. I'm just kidding, but I'm not, ScrewTube is screwing me. But Charlie Parker did an interview up in Boston. Not that long before he died at the age of 34, right? He was interviewed by the great Paul Desmond, a great alto saxophonist. He was the alto saxophone on Take 5. With Dave Brubeck, I know y'all hate jazz, and that's another stuff. A lot of y'all don't care for jazz, and some of y'all are supposed to be musicians and stuff. But anyway, Paul Desmond asked Charlie Parker, he said, Bird, were you born like this, or were you born a genius? No. And Charlie Parker had this amazing voice, like a college professor, he's a high school dropout. He said, well, no, Paul, what I did was I practiced for 11 to 15 hours a day for 3 or 4 years, drove the neighbors mad. He said he practiced his saxophone for 11 to 15 hours a day for 4 years. Now, y'all fools up here being parrots and mockingbirds, y'all repeat, y'all just on the groupthink mind spell. What they're saying, I like to say, if you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's a definition of insanity. Nah, nigga, that's a definition of practice. Practice. If you do the same thing over again and expect a different result, that's called practice. It's not called insanity. But we're in the same upside down ass world. So anything that's right is wrong and everything wrong is right. And that's why people just want to despise me and hate me for no good goddamn reason. But hate me for the right reasons. That's all I ask. Hate me for the right reasons. But yeah, you got to paint these stories. We got to tell these stories. But the Washington Race War, forget about 63. Focus on 1919. Black folks had more of a chance in 1919 than we had in 63. Ain't there something? And even in 2023, he had more. So you talk about your ancestors ain't crap. Okay. Anyway, Let me finish this up. So, in a television interview, Mr. Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder Jr. had also raised the fact that there was a history of domestic violence against accusations against Johnson. You know how many people, historical American figures, were bad people, but we celebrate them. They used to beat up on people, used to kill people, a lot of them, and they're heroes and everything. Anyway, Johnson's cause had attracted a range of supporters, including Senator John McCain and the filmmaker Ken Burns, who made a documentary about the case in 2005 called Unforgivable Blackness, The Rise and Fall of Jack Johnson. Linda Haywood, a woman in Chicago who traces her lineage to Johnson, also had campaigned for him for years and attended the Oval Office ceremony. Johnson, who won the heavyweight title in 1908 and was ostentatious and outspoken in a way black celebrities rarely were at the time, was convicted in 1913 of violating the Mann Act on charges that he had transported a white woman across state lines for immoral purposes. The woman Johnson transported, Belle Schreiber, worked as a prostitute and had been one of the heavyweight champions' many lovers. Johnson was sentenced to a year in prison, but he fled the country for several years, returning in 1920 to serve a 10-month sentence. Decades after Johnson was convicted under the Mann Act, his case drew significant attention as a gross miscarriage of justice. When reporters were led into the Oval Office on Thursday, Mr. Trump was sitting with a large ornate title belt from the World Boxing Council propped up in front of him. Mauricio Suleiman Salvador, the president of the WBC, I guess that's his name, thanked Mr. Trump for taking what he called a huge step and declared Thursday a great day for the sport in the world. Mr. Trump turned to Mr. Stallone and joked that he was not sure whether his best look was Rambo or Rocky. The president kidded Mr. Stallone, who through a representative declined an interview request about not wanting reporters calling to the Oval Office. I have stage fright, Mr. Stallone said. I know he ain't how you sound. Mrs. Haywood thanked the president as well, saying the pardon was a long time coming. I am overwhelmed, she said, adding that her family had been deeply shamed that my uncle went to prison and regretted that the older relatives have not lived to see this day. Okay, I got a little bit more to read. Not that much, y'all. I just want to read this. I appreciate you rewriting history, Mrs. Haywood said. My family can go forward knowing the pain and the shame has been replaced. Amen. Jesus Christ. The WBC, one of boxing's sanctioning bodies, invited luminaries of the sport, including current champion Deontay Wilder and the retired one, Lennox Lewis, to the ceremony, according to Tim Smith, the vice president for communications at Haymon Boxing. Wilder said that when he and others met privately with the president, Mr. Trump talked about Mr. Lewis's past fights and marveled at Mr. Wilder's perfect 40-0 record. That was back then, y'all. We know what happened later. The president also spoke about what a privilege it was to sign the pardon for Johnson when his predecessors had not, Mr. Wilder said. Although he did not vote for Mr. Trump and said the president had not done enough to improve the lives of black people, Mr. Wilder said Thursday's events improved his perception of the president. This is a big step forward, especially for the black community, for the simple fact he didn't have to do it, Mr. Wilder said. Hopefully, this ain't one thing. You done one great deed, then that's it. Not only was Johnson the first black man to win the heavyweight world championship, but he was also the rare black man of his era who was brash and unapologetic about his wealth and success. This is like decades before Muhammad Ali. Y'all thought Muhammad Ali had it bad in the 60s? Imagine being that brash and unapologetic back in the 1900s, where they'll lynch a black person every day or day and a half in this country. Like I said, when he would win, there'll be race riots. Black folks would get killed because of Johnson's success. He was killing people with his success. Jack Johnson was killing people with his success. Can you not dig that or dig? You understand what I'm saying? Oh my God. He taunted his opponents in the ring and dated white women, which was taboo and in some places illegal at the time. After Johnson had won the heavyweight title, many in white society advocated for a white fighter, the great white hope, to step up and win the title back. James J. Jeffries, a former champion who had been in retirement, took up the challenge, but Johnson decimated Jeffries, a victory that sparked violent white backlash in the form of riots across the country. And I told you, like, riots, Donald Trump versus the great white flop, this Joe Biden. Y'all, and you would never be able to convince me that Joe Biden got more votes than any presidential candidate in U.S. history. That's a lie. I don't care. I'm demonetized anyway. That's not true. Joe Biden can't remember his birthday. Okay. Anyway, it's elder abuse what they're doing to Joe Biden. That fight would later serve to secure Johnson's place in the history books as it inspired the 1967 play The Great White Hope and the 1970 movie of the same name. Johnson was one of the few people in sports who transcended sports, said Mike Silver, a boxing historian. He transcended the athletic world to become really part of the culture and the racial history of the country. So, I mean, Trump got that type of spirit, very flamboyant, got his own style and swagger, unapologetic by being who he is, just like Johnson was, who he reincarnated from. Jack Johnson, Donald Trump, same people as far as I'm concerned. Life path forwards, okay? Also, let me see. I'm having fun here, man. This is a different brother Ron, man. This is Ron Avelli, man. God gave me an awesome vision that I'll be talking about and implementing. I'm actually training right now for that vision. Every day this month, I've been working out in the gym. I run anywhere from 2 miles, like 4.5 miles a day. So every day I either run 2.5 miles or 4.5 miles a day. Training my mind, my body, my spirit, renewing, recharging, recalibrating, ready for this next phase of my life, like unlocking the gifts that I have, the spiritual gifts, the physical gifts, everything. I'm putting everything on me. I'm betting on me now because I try to bet on other horses. They let me down. They just wasn't up to the task. Now, Brother Ron is getting up to the task. And this is I love sharing these thoughts. Might be very unpopular with you all. The fact that Donald Trump is Jack Johnson, but he is Jack Johnson. And my truth does not need to be validated by your ignorance. Because I just did a little bit of work. And I want y'all, let me share. I got to share what this white guy did. I got to give this white guy this props, man. I love this video. It hits home. It hits home. And I'll be on here for, I guess, 20 more minutes, I think. But life is interesting, man. This summer, I had not planned this summer to go the way it went, but I thank the universal God for waking me up, man. Because y'all don't understand how bad 2024 gonna be, man. That's why one of the reasons why I'm working now. I'm being like the ant. I'm the ant. I used to be like a grasshopper. Now I'm the ant, man. Determined to flip the script. And I lost almost 50 pounds. I lost 50 pounds a year. And I'm losing more weight in a good way. I'm not losing weight because I'm sick. I'm losing weight because I'm actually kicking diabetes ass. My lab results were impressive. I didn't know I was wow, I'm almost about to evict this bitch's fall, though. I'm gonna evict diabetes out my fucking body. That bitch can't help me. I like eating steak, but I don't want to be cut up like a goddamn steak. So it ain't happening. It's not happening. But I'm kicking diabetes ass right now. Now you think about it. And that's before I start running 4.5. I ran 4+ miles every day last week. I ran actually 4+ miles for Dick Gregory. I started doing it the weekend of his anniversary of his death. I was in the gym. Dick Gregory ran cross country a couple times to bring awareness to hunger and other issues. I said, let me channel Baba Dick energy. So I ran 4 miles, 4.5 miles for 3 or 4 days. And I said, let me do it for a whole week. So I did it all last week. I ran over 4 miles a day in 30 minutes. Y'all don't know who I am, man. I ain't trying to be no Sakari Richardson or nothing like that, but I run my own race, man. I love working out. I love dancing. I love all that stuff. I'm getting healthy, man. I thank God, man. Y'all don't understand what I've been through, man. I'm in therapy about this shit. But anyway, that's another story. Y'all have no idea. People make fun. It ain't fun, but it's fun now. But anyway, I'm trying to find it was a great like short somebody did that really like captures the essence of Jack Johnson in about a minute. And I'm gonna pull it up for you all. I don't own the rights to this, and I don't make no money off anything no more. Everybody making money off my stuff. The hard work, like I travel across the country, get cursed out by Dick Gregory. Everybody else making money off, but Brother Ron can't make money off of it because he ain't, Brother Ron put out too much truth in his videos. They removing Dick Gregory videos. Y'all talking about Dr. Randy Short, man. Dr. Randy Short and other people's platforms, they keep on removing my Dr. Short video. So y'all, they trying to cancel Brother Ron, and Brother Ron be doing the truth. Brother Ron bringing the truth, baby. They don't want to give Pac his credit, man. Anybody that's authentic and real, they want to take out of here. Then y'all want to, oh, we miss them so much and we love him. Y'all didn't love me like that. Y'all didn't love me like that. Anyway, some of y'all do care about me, I guess. But that Brother Ron's dead. This is the new Ron. Let me see. So we play this clip. I think it's very important. The white dude, he did him justice. I love it. Okay. Let's see. Can I make this?
Most people, when they think about athletes and sports and protests, they think of Tommy Smith and John Carlos in 1968 Olympics or Muhammad Ali and the Vietnam War. But you could actually go back to Jack Johnson. I talk about this in my book, Black and Brown, African Americans in Mexican Revolution. He's a major character in that book because Jack Johnson, born in Galveston, Texas, heavyweight boxing champion at the turn of the 20th century, of course, subjected to the racist attack of the certain fight promoters trying to find a so-called great white hope to defeat him because his being heavyweight boxing champion was seen as a blow against white supremacy.
Right.
And of course, that's been represented in the movie Great White Hope and Clay of the same name. He is convicted on Trump-up charges and flees the country, moves to Mexico. And during the time of the Revolutionary Decade, 1910 and 1920, he aligns with Mexican revolutionaries, tries to set up a base of opposition to Jim Crow in Mexico.
Wow.
And getting Negroes to move to Mexico as well to fortify Mexico, which then is in conflict with the United States. Recall that Pancho Villa had invaded and sacked Columbus, New Mexico around that same time. Recall also, there's an old saying that you want to keep a secret, publish it in a book.
Right.
And one of the things in my books is about the plan of San Diego, which most folks don't recall, even though it's no secret, it's in my book. It was a plan of the Negroes in league with Mexican revolutionaries and possibly Japan and or Germany to take back the land that the United States had taken from Mexico during the War of 1846 to 1848, which includes California, right, and most of the U.S. Southwest, and then liquidate the Euro-American population and establish instead independent Black and Native American republics. This is what's going on in the Revolutionary Decade, 1910 and 1920. But in any case, Jack Johnson is subjected, there's regime change in Mexico City, and he has to come back to the United States where he's jailed.
I just play that because it's interesting. Jack Johnson, the character. I'm moving the movie I Spy with. I know I Spy was a TV show with Bill Cosby, right? Dr. Bill Cosby, but they did like a reboot of I Spy as a movie, as a feature movie. I believe Owen Wilson and Eddie Murphy was in the movie. Eddie Murphy was a boxer in the movie, right? But he was a spy. So they probably got that from Jack Johnson. And the first time I heard about Jack Johnson being a secret agent and a revolutionary or whatever and being with Pancho Villa was actually from the brilliant historian and legal analyst, Dr. Gerald Horn, who's a professor down in Houston. This man is phenomenal. He's from St. Louis, like Dick Gregory. St. Louis and Memphis got some interesting things. Like we on the Mississippi River, and we produce like some phenomenal people, especially Black people. There's very innovative, brilliant people on that river. I don't know what's in that water, but it's producing brilliant people. Dr. Gerald Horn, he told me this several years ago that Jack Johnson was a secret agent. And I said, what? He said, yeah, man, he was a revolutionary, man. He was going to work with Pancho Villa. They wanted to start a revolution to free the colored people of the world. That's how he told it to me. So the fact in Jack Johnson would drink out with Rasputin, why is there not a feature movie about Jack Johnson? That's the question. And don't let Hollywood. See, I always tell people, Black history is way better than science fiction or a Hollywood movie. If you told what the white dude said about Jack Johnson in that clip, that would be a hell of a movie. Don't let white people like Hidden Figures and all this bullshit make some sympathetic white person. Tell the truth about what happened to Jack Johnson. When he did, Jack Johnson invented stuff. Y'all know he's an inventor. He invented wrenches and stuff. Jack Johnson was an intellectual. He was a brilliant black man. And there's a fear of a brilliant black man. That's why I love Tupac and people like us. Brilliant black men are more dangerous than anything. This country will be so much better if they really will honor the greatness in black men. There's a lot of things that a lot of us as Americans take for granted that black men sacrifice for. Civil War was won because of black men. It wasn't won until black men got involved on the Union side. The Confederates was kicking Union ass. Confederates actually used black labor to help kick Union ass. Then they enlisted black soldiers. And it was black Confederates. And the people, Frederick Douglass talk about seeing black Confederates at the first battle of the Civil War, the Battle of Bull Run. He talking about they were Confederate soldiers. So I mean, you had Native Americans that were Confederate soldiers. Y'all, well, Native Americans owned slaves. Did you know the founder of the Klan, General Albert Pike from Boston? He was a Confederate general that's over the civilized tribes who were Confederate soldiers. This is the founder of the Klan from Boston. He ain't from the South. He from up South. He ain't from down South. He was from up South. Because like Malcolm said, anything south of Canada is Mississippi. So let me dive into this. And and you think about what so Jack Johnson was a secret agent and he was friends with Ponto Villa. So how people say, well, Donald Trump is a double agent. He's a secret agent for Russia. He's friends with Vladimir Putin. Right? But they're not connected, huh? There's not a connection, huh? They love to hate you. Jack Johnson had gold teeth, had a pet leopard, exotic stuff going on. Donald Trump is orange like a cheetah, exotic hair, gold. He loved gold stuff. He's like a rapper, like a bling bling. He's the bling bling king. So you mean they're not connected? Come on, man. Donald Trump, only president. The fact that Jack Johnson's relative came from Chicago, Mrs. Haywood. Jack Johnson's buried in Chicago next to his wife, Etta, who killed herself, who committed suicide. He's buried next to her, a white lady in Chicago. Obama's mama's white, and he supposed to be from Chicago. Yeah, he couldn't pardon Jack Johnson. That's a fool. Y'all like that clown Negro. Y'all can have him. I'm tired of it. I'm just so tired of the symbolism. What is this? Symbolism. Trump actually had a platinum plan. He actually took Ice Cube seriously. Trump did stuff for HBCUs. Trump let Negroes out of prison that the policies of Joe Biden and the Democrats put in place, put these brothers and sisters in prison. He freed over 5,000 people. Let me read an article. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I don't care what you feel. The representatives of Brother Ron's body, we are looking forward to voting for Donald Trump a third time. 3 times. I'm looking forward. If he's not on the ballot, I will write him in like Dick Gregory in 68. Write me in. I'm going to write Donald Trump in because Donald Trump is what the people need. This country needs Donald Trump right now. Donald Trump was sent here to save America. And he's a time traveler. And, Brother Ron, what the hell are you talking about? That's for another show. Donald Trump, it's funny how I talk to people about Donald Trump. I said, you know who his uncle was, right? Who's Donald Trump's uncle? You know his niece, that weirdo. I believe he's a narcissist more than Donald Trump is. Y'all, I survived the narcissist, a person with narcissistic personality disorder. Donald Trump may have narcissistic personality tendency. We all could be narcissists, but anyway, Donald Trump's uncle was John Trump. That was one of his favorite people. He was real close to his uncle. His father, made money to help put his uncle through college and all that stuff. His father was the breadwinner. He created what is now known as the Trump Organization, that Donald Trump called the Trump Organization, real estate. But he put his brother through college. Donald Trump's uncle was a longtime government scientist. award-winning MIT professor, very intelligent, one of Donald Trump's favorite people. When Nikola Tesla died back in January the 7th, 1943, up in New York, the government assigned Donald Trump's uncle to look over his notebooks and stuff. So that's Donald Trump's uncle. Donald Trump came from people made him. They knew he was groomed for what he's doing. You know, Roy Cohn, who's legal counsel for Senator Joseph McCarthy during the Red Scare era of the 50s, he mentored Donald Trump. And he also was a mob lawyer. They did a movie back in the day about Roy Cohn on HBO, and then Al Pacino played him in another HBO TV show called Angels in America, whatever. Now, Roy Cohn was a gay guy, died of AIDS, HIV complications, but he was real close to Donald Trump. He really saw something in Donald Trump. Well, people don't understand, politics make for strange bedfellows, right? You got RFK Jr. running with Donald Trump for president right now, right? Here's a connection between Donald Trump and RFK Jr., right, that y'all don't understand. Roy Cohn worked with Bobby Kennedy as legal counsel for Senator Joseph McCarthy. Bobby Kennedy's first job in D.C. was working for Senator Joseph McCarthy as part of his legal counsel team with Roy Cohn. Joseph McCarthy is the godfather of Bobby Kennedy's first child, Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, who was the former lieutenant governor of Maryland. You know, she lost her grandson and her daughter recently around in 2020 in some type of weird drowning out there in Maryland, right? They still killing Kennedys, by the way. So that's Donald Trump connection to Kennedys, right? You know, like, you know, your mentor worked with Bobby Kennedy, da. Then also, you know, Donald Trump is a Gemini like JFK. And I believe that look how they demonized JFK. They had a wanted poster for JFK. This year will be the 60th anniversary of the JFK assassination. You could look up this poster they made wanted. I guess they're accusing President Kennedy of treason down in Texas. They end up killing President Kennedy in Texas, a traitor supposedly. But I want you to think about this stuff that's happening. What is it about Donald Trump? Why are they targeting him? Is it a distraction? What is this really about? Is this really about Donald Trump being worse than any other president in history? I would beg to differ. I actually think that he's the greatest president of my lifetime. I'm 43 years old. So I would say in my lifetime, and you talking to a person that drank the Obama Kool-Aid twice, who went to both inaugurations and all that stuff, paid all this money to go stand in the cold, when I could have watched it on TV, on cable at home, in the warm, was eating s'mores or drinking hot chocolate. He is the best president of my lifetime. Because he did things to shake up things, to awaken people, to make people feel passionate about whatever their position is. He empowered people to feel passionate about their point of view. And also he done things he should get credit for, like the pardon of Jack Johnson. Like Obama should have did that. That was like delivered to him on a platter. You a son of Chicago, right? By the way of Hawaii and Indonesia, you a son of Chicago. Here's a sister who's from Chicago, whose uncle is buried in Chicago with his wife, his white wife. Your mama's white. Your daddy black. Your mama white. You can identify with the struggle of Obama. This should have been a part of your narrative, a racial reconciliation. But that's a goal. But yeah, you want to have a goddamn beer summit. Yeah, that's who you are. Reaching for the low-hanging fruit. And you know our people, we just love the symbolism. We love it. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ, the symbolism is off the hizzy for shizzy by dizzy. Anyway, what I want to read. It is so liberating to know that people really want to see me fail. And I'm not going to fail. I bounce back like round ball. Oh, my God. I'm on a different level, man. This is funny. But I'm going to read this article about a brother who benefited from the generosity of the Donald. He freed all these prisoners and stuff. And Donald, to me, he can identify with the black man struggle more than any other president in history. They treat him just like a nigga. No matter how much money he got and what he's achieved, he's nothing but a nigga. He's an orange, Fanta, Cheeto looking nigga. I never seen a president. Y'all talking about Obama wasn't treated like this. No president in history had been treated like a nigga like Donald Trump. My nigga. What? Yo nigga. Jack Johnson treated like a nigga. You the heavyweight champion of the world. You can't sleep with white women. Oh Lord, you eat white meat chicken. You can't have that other white meat. You can eat pork chops. You can't have that other white meat, Jack. But you the heavyweight champion of the world. Why you can't have the other white meat? You should have what you want. You can have whatever you like. I'm trying to find this article. And I'm going to close it out with something y'all ain't think about either. And this would be a classic. Why I can't find that article when I need to find it, man. Boy. Are you ready for love? I know I am. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. I think I'll find it. I'm trying to find it. But it's an article I want to read because I want to give Trump his due, man. Because Joe Biden said he ain't gonna do nothing for black folks. Remember he had that Zoom call with the so-called black leaders, the black stepping fetches, all them. And he told them I ain't gonna do nothing for y'all. Y'all need to work with the brown people. Y'all need to work with them Latinos. I ain't doing nothing. He said I ain't doing nothing for you Negroes. You ain't getting nothing from me, man. Nothing, man. Get nothing from me, man. Okay, this is a Newsweek article. Brother named Craig Scott, he said, Trump released me from prison under the First Step Act. He has even more street cred. This guy, I got to read this. I love when I read this. This the Craig Scott, formerly incarcerated actor, militant activist, and filmmaker. This came out August 25th, Black August 25th, 2023, baby. So this is what he said. He said, in the early 90s, I was a militant activist and bank robber. I saw myself as a black Robin Hood, stealing from white-owned banks to fund black cultural events. Damn, we need him from We All Be. Damn, I wish I was caught and sentenced under then Senator Joe Biden's 94 crime bill to an unheard of 52 years. Though I was a first-time offender and no one was hurt during any of my robberies. And I was released by Trump's 2019 Criminal Justice Reform Bill, the First Step Act, thanks to Trump's prodding of Congress to reverse many of the draconian laws written and supported by our current president. The former president freed 5,000. Let me say this again. The former president freed 5,000 incarcerated people like me from outrageous sentences. Yet he is now facing the possibility of serving a sentence of his own. As I watch former President Donald Trump get perp walked and mug shot at the Fulton County Jail in Georgia, I couldn't help but notice the deep irony. The same criminal justice system that Trump made radical reforms to is now being used to discredit him and hamper his chances of winning the presidency for a second time. I said 3 times. It'll be the 3rd time he wins. None of us who have benefited from Trump's radical reform of the criminal justice system under the First Step Act are blind to that irony. But it goes beyond that. Trump's repeated run-ins with the law and what seems like an unfair obsession with catching him and punishing him disproportionately for his so-called crimes reminds a lot of us of what was done to us. From where I'm sitting, the events of this week will only increase Trump's street cred, especially among formerly incarcerated voters. Having experienced being arrested and booked, I can tell you there's no such thing as a good-looking mugshot. Seeing Trump's has an especially impactful meaning to people like myself, formerly incarcerated individuals who languish under disproportionately harsh sentences. Many critics of Trump interpret his arrest as proof that he is unsuitable to return to the White House. But to my eyes, as I still struggle to repair my life from the damage of serving an unjust sentence, this is evidence that he may be just the right person for the job. He's literally been in my shoes. No other president can brag on that. And believe me, he will brag about it. Such boasting will not fall on deaf ears. This is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Donald Trump is one of the most probably talked about people or subject matter in rap history. So it makes sense he'll be a brag. And he's from Queens. I tell you all the legendary hip hop figures from Queens, right? Nas, Mobb Deep. I forgot to mention them guys. There's a couple of guys out there. He's from location. The U.S. is still leading the world with our incarceration rates, but like many of those incarcerated, I have now re-entered society and have finished serving my probation, which permits me to vote in the next presidential election. The same can be said about those released in the state of Florida, which has restored the right to vote for many returning citizens. It's hard for me to imagine others like me released from prison on the First Step Act, voting against the man who freed us. Having seen his mugshot only makes us more inclined to vote for him. Just ask any popular public figure how to establish street cred. They'll tell you, get arrested. Trump's credibility doesn't just improve among the formerly incarcerated. Let's face it, Americans love an underdog. What better way to make a billionaire relatable and counted among the disenfranchised than to have him targeted for criminal and civil prosecution? At the end of the day, these repeated arrests may end up having a very unintended consequence. Instead of proving to the country that Trump is unelectable, it may have removed a barrier in the form of him being unrelatable. Those arrests have made Trump relatable to the 5 million people in America under some form of supervision by the U.S. criminal legal system. In 2020, President Trump got the votes of 18% of black men. Don't be surprised if he gets more in 2024 if he's the GOP nominee for president. Now that he suffered the indignity of what Joe Biden's crime bill put so many of us through, he will be an even bigger champion of our cause. This is Craig Scott of McCain Entertainment Network, who is a formerly incarcerated actor, militant activist, and filmmaker. Brother, I was part of that 18%, and I will do it again because I love my country. I love my people that much that I'm willing to play the villain because you Negroes do not understand what you do. And Lord, please forgive them. And that's another thing I want to say too, because y'all be groupthink zombies. When a person say they praying for their enemies, y'all think that's weakness. That's not a weakness. Y'all man, they pray for their enemies. No, brother. It hit me this summer what that really meant. When you pray for your enemies, you're not necessarily praying for them. You're praying for you. You praying that they don't do some stupid shit, some dumb shit to trigger you, that you may regret what you do in response to that dumb shit. You really praying that, Lord, please don't let them do nothing stupid to trigger me, to cause me to do something that I will regret if I survive to tell the tale or to even think about it. See, this is who I am. It's not insanity, it's practice. It's not praying for your enemies, it's praying for yourself. It's all about you. So Trump, history is going to be very kind to President Trump and all these so-called historians and whack scholars and stuff. He's the worst. Trump is one of our better presidents. Trump is one of our better. He is Lincoln. That dude basically said Donald Trump is Abraham Lincoln. See, that's nothing. Obama's a son of Illinois, land of Lincoln. He missed opportunity after opportunity. Trump did more in 4 years under intense scrutiny by the federal government and the powers that be did Obama did in 8. This man, I can name several things that Trump did. That's why they don't like talking to me at family gatherings, because you ain't gonna out Trump me. You ain't gonna make me feel bad. My own so-called childhood minister, the one who I honored, he unfriended me again on Fed book, on Snitch book. Can't stand my point of view. I honor you. And he said something to the effect. I remember on one of his Facebook posts that anybody who voted for Trump, they idiots. I mean, bro, you raised me. So I guess you an idiot. The fruit don't fall too far from the tree, but you can't stand some of my political views. And I spent thousands of dollars to honor you on my dime. That's how it is. That's how I'm feeling right now. I'm like Tupac. I love Tupac. People are always crazy when they tell you how they really feel. It's never like, oh, and then you call people lie when they don't share what you think they should be sharing. But when a person tell you how they really feel, and I really feel is this: Trump was a friend of black people. Trump don't hate black people like that. And racist, all white people racist. It has nothing to do with hate. It has to do with systemic privilege. If you are classified as white, You got Asians and Hispanics classified as white. You get certain privileges that other people don't get. It's a race for resources. Racism have nothing to do with like hate and all that. Supremacy, like being a white supremacy. You got white supremacists as black people. See, y'all get lost in the sauce. I don't have no friends. I realized after this summer, I don't really have friends. If I'm not a friend to myself, it's a saying. A man who's a friend to many is an enemy to himself. A man who is a friend to many is an enemy to him. I don't have friends. I realized that. I just, people don't, my own family don't understand me. And yet one day people say, oh, Brother Ron is a relative of mine. He's, Brother Ron, I already know. Brother Ron is like, he wanted like they do me. I got relatives like that. I'm related to famous people or infamous people. So it don't make a difference. But what I'm saying right now, is wrapping it up. I'm willing to take hits, if that means y'all unsubscribe or y'all block me or unfriend me and y'all think I'm crazy. I don't care because I'm on the right side of history. I know that Donald Trump is not who they say he is in the media. The same media that suppressed the laptop, Joe Biden's son, that allow his crime family to prosper. Y'all so silly. Godfather was about American politics. Y'all think it was about some Italian American family. It's about American politics. Like that scene, ain't gonna never forget when Michael's walking down the street with Kate, his fiance, played by Diane Keaton. I think her name was Kate, right? They walking down the street. He talking about how his father had big plans for him to be legitimate, like wanting to be like a senator or president. And then this his fiance Kate, she's a school teacher, right? This remind you, this is a woman that's responsible for helping nurturing the minds of young people. She said, Michael, that's silly, or something like that. Michael, that's silly. The president doesn't kill people. She said, the president doesn't kill people. And he said, Kate, who's the naive one? And I'm not using the exact dialogue, but I'm saying, like, this is how a lot of people think. A lot of you professional people that making six figures that got your benefits. It's like with the boomers, man. I've been thinking about this all this month. I cannot allow myself to let myself go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get older, my body falls. No, fuck all that. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna stop eating all this shit that ain't gonna do me no good in the bedroom. And I plan on making babies like Al Pacino and Ron Isley in my 80s, man. But I'm gonna have a body like Sty Stallone, man. I'm gonna take pride. I like, fuck all this, because like what they doing, they killing us. They leave like these boomers and stuff, especially the older boomers. They take it for granted because they've been pampered. They didn't have to deal with no high student loan debt. They didn't have to deal with certain things. They had a job where they could work 30, 40 plus years at one job and support a family of four. Wife could stay at home, raise children. Them days are gone. So I can't take advice from people who don't know what it is to tough it out and not to have a lot of support, especially from the government. I can't take advice because I'll be dead, because a lot of them dying, a lot of them bodies falling apart. They up there want to depend on people. I said, well, should been a better father to your child. Should been a better mother to your child, because you didn't think you're going to get old and be dependent on these motherfuckers. Now these kids don't give a damn about themselves. What do you think you don't give a damn about your old ass? See, it's the hate produce. So this is where I'm at right now. I'm taking better care of myself. I'm going to let bygones be bygones. I pray for my enemies. That's all I can do. But what I'm going to say, let's talk about Jack Johnson and what else Donald Trump, what else they value. Donald Trump, right? What's the connection between Donald Trump and boxing? I got this smartphone. I'm tired of doing all this research and people not taking advantage of it. When they taking advantage of me, I got to be free, man. So it's Donald Trump and boxing, right? So yeah, I gotta bring it home to y'all. Look at Donald Trump and boxing. I guess it'll be a 2-hour show. It'll be a classic. And I think about coming back on this weekend with some special guests. Oh, boy. Okay. Let's see how long is the article. I'm going to read this article by Jack Hirsch, who's the president of the Boxing Writers Association of America. This article came out in April 26, 2020, when Donald Trump ruled boxing. There is no middle ground when it comes to Donald Trump. The 45th president of the United States has been known to stir the emotions like no other. But love him or loathe him, it should be remembered that at one time Trump wielded as much power within the sport of boxing as he does in today's political arena. That was reinforced to me when I came across a story I had written for a long since defunct boxing scene magazine over 30 years ago, listing the 10 most powerful people in boxing. And the number one spot was Trump. That's not Jack Johnson. Get the hell out of here with this. That Jack Johnson came back as Trump. Oh my God. It was a position that he did not hold for long, but nevertheless, Trump's impact has resulted in him being inducted into both the Atlantic City and New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fames. Recently, Trump held a conference call of the various commissioners, encouraging them to resume their sports schedule as soon as reasonably possible. What was revealing was that no one from boxing was represented, while the UFC and WWE had Dana White and Vince McMahon, respectively, on the call. Both those men are the face of their sport. Apparently, Trump does not think boxing has one. Trump understandably has put boxing in his rearview mirror. He was never a big fan. It was simply a vehicle for his casinos to make money. Whatever the reason, Trump put on high-profile events in Atlantic City, such as Jerry Cooney's versus Michael Spinks, Mike Tyson versus Spinks, and George Foreman versus Evander Holyfield. That he could outbid Las Vegas for massive events spoke volumes for the clout Trump wielded in the mid-1980s to early 1990s. Trump's relationship with Tyson was intriguing. When Tyson had managerial issues with Bill Cayton, Trump tried to move in by gaining the confidence of the champion's wife, Robin Givens, and her mother, Ruth Roper. When Tyson split from Givens, Trump was left on the outside looking in, but still remained on good terms with the champion's promoter, Don King, who respected Donald's wealth enough to leave the door open for future business dealings. In fact, Trump flew to Tokyo and sat next to King the night Tyson lost to Buster Douglas. Trump's conduct then as now could be bizarre, such as when Dave Tiberi lost a debatable decision to James Toney in Atlantic City in an unsuccessful bid to lift the world middleweight title. An outraged Trump stormed into Tiberi's dressing room afterward and told the fighter the verdict will be overturned. "This is not coming from my people. It's coming from me," Trump said before storming out. That was the last Tiberi heard from Trump. When Tyson was convicted of rape in 1992, Trump surmised that he should still be allowed to box. Trump proposed most of Tyson's purses be given to victims groups, but made no mention on where the rest of the profits would go. Trump gently went back to his roots when he ran for president in 2016. Campaigning for him separately were both King and Tyson. Before a Gennady Golovkin fight at Madison Square Garden, Trump visited him as he was warming up in his dressing room. The crowd booing as the interaction was displayed on the overhead screen. Then, not long after Trump was elected president, he was paid a visit by Floyd Mayweather, who he labeled, as an all-time great. And of course, there was the pardon Trump gave to Jack Johnson once in office. Boxing would be no more than a footnote to Trump's eventual legacy, but his impact at one time was undeniable. Yeah, that's Trump, man. Fascinating life. That's Jack Johnson, but y'all know him as Donald Trump. Donald Trump is Jack Johnson's revenge, man. Oh, it's hilarious. Oh my God. LeRon, what's going on? Your government just said they had UFOs and aliens, and y'all didn't know there was aliens. Well, you think you looking at NFL and the NBA and looking at these sports shows, and y'all saw the movie Man in Black? It's called predictive programming. You should already know there's been aliens among us for a while now. It's a lot of things. It's like you should know your government kill your leaders. Oh my God, it's like, they bringing a RICO Act against Donald Trump and the Trump organization, whatever. What about the RICO Act against the CIA for what they did in 63? Or the FBI, what they did in 68 and 69? I'm talking about, Jack Kennedy in 63 for the CIA, FBI, Dr. King, the gun that killed Dr. King came from the FBI. They knew that back in 78. Fred Hampton was killed by the FBI. 69. It's a lot of other things. But what I'm saying is the first black agent in FBI history. I know y'all say J. Edgar Hoover, but I'm talking the first one they identified as black. James Wormley Jones, Agent 800. Look him up. Look up Google Agent 800. He was brought in to neutralize Marcus Garvey. So your government has always had a hand in destroying you. The same government entity trying to destroy Trump, and Trump has done a lot of good for the people, whether you know that or not, because a lot of y'all don't read, and a lot of things y'all don't really appreciate the folks that do good for you. You know, we are taught to be against people that advocate for us. We'll support dirty, narcissistic in Memphis. But people that got their heart in the game, that are sacrificing things for us, we don't respect. We really don't. Don't tell me otherwise. That's a lie. Because, like I said, Brother Ron, the good Brother Ron, he died June 21st, man. 2020. That brother that want to wish everybody happy birthday. That, Facebook will be spamming, blocking me, and spam blocking me and stuff. I'm trying to wish people happy birthday for hours and hours, and people don't think I had a birthday. I remember people had the nerve to come to, oh, Brother Ron, you didn't wish me no birthday. I said, nigga, yeah, I had a birthday last year too. You didn't wish me no birthday. Where's all this coming from? That's not, just because I should do it. I don't mind doing it, but what I'm saying is, for so many years, I've been pouring from a cup that had a hole in the bottom. I've been literally killing myself trying to love on people and serve people. But anyway, let's get back with Jack Johnson. What about him being a secret agent during World War I? Because Dr. Gerald Horn told me about that. And I'm going to close it out with that. And also, what y'all don't know, and it should be better known. Because, Donald Trump is in real estate, right? Like the Taj Mahal, right? The Trump Tower, all that stuff, right? Well, Jack Johnson, y'all know that Jack Johnson actually owned the Cotton Club. He was the original owner of the Cotton Club. The Cotton Club. They would like to fantasize that Cotton Club with Duke Ellington and all them Cotton Club dancers and stuff. Satchel was all strong, all the dancers, Lena Horne, all them cats. He owned the Cotton Club originally, and the gangsters, I guess they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. I think he called it the Deluxe Club. It was called the Deluxe Club back in the day. Let's see him, Jack Johnson. Cotton Club. Y'all could just do this stuff yourself. I'm just like Jack Johnson's Cotton Club connection. Okay. Read it. Okay, the Cotton Club, legendary night spot in the Harlem district of New York City that for years featured prominent black entertainers who performed for white audiences. The club served as a springboard to fame for Duke Ellington, Cab Calloway, and many others. Jack Johnson, the first African-American heavyweight boxing champion, opened the Club Deluxe, a 400-seat nightclub at the corner of 142nd Street and Lenox Avenue in 1920. In 1922, the club was taken over by Oni Madden, a well-known Manhattan underworld figure. Madden rechristened the establishment, the Cotton Club, limited the audience to white patrons, entirely reworked the interior, and turned the club into the most popular cabaret in Harlem. Okay, there you go. Oni Madden. And there's another thing. See, people want to talk about Trump. Oni Madden was an Irish gangster. His nickname was the Killer. He was known as a big-time promoter in the boxing world. He was a fixer in the boxing world. Big-time gangster in New York, ran a Cotton Club. They ran him out of New York State. Guess where he moves? He moves to Arkansas. Arkansas is something, y'all. Arkansas. It's called Arkansas. He moved to Arkansas, right? He rings from Hot Springs. That's his power base. Hot Springs was the Las Vegas of the day. Before Las Vegas became Las Vegas, Hot Springs was the place where all the gangsters would come and vacation and have a good time. They'd take advantage of the hot spring baths and gambling and all this stuff. It was like one of them towns that was like it's like Switzerland or something like that. Like only like Las Vegas, like the gangsters, like you from Chicago, New York, or Detroit, whatever your beef was back home. When you came to Hot Springs, you did not have your beef in Hot Springs. You left that back home. So y'all could be enemies back home and frenemies in Hot Springs, right? And keep the peace. So Oni Madden ruled Hot Springs and Arkansas politics for decades. And guess who's from Hope, Arkansas, who also connected to Hot Springs? President Bill Clinton. He used to play the saxophone down in the Democratic Hall down in Hot Springs, and his mom was the head nurse for Oni Madden. Yeah, I knew Oni Madden. Somebody asked Bill Clinton about his thoughts about Oni Madden. He knew Oni Madden. Oni Madden he died in 1965. Like I said, Bill Clinton's mom was one of his nurses at one point. So you talking about some gangster connections. Same thing with Hillary. Hillary had gangster connections, right? Her her mentor, Saul Alinsky, the one who discovered and groomed Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is from a product of the Chicago mob. Saul Alinsky's mentor was Frank Nitti. Al Capone second in command. He took over for Al Capone and the outfit when Al Capone went to jail, prison for income tax evasion. The dude that discovered and mentored and trained and groomed Hillary Clinton, he was a product of Al Capone's guy, Frank Nitti. This is Saul Alinsky, right? So all these politicians are a product of some type of mob. Even Donald Trump, like I said, Roy Cohn. You know, Donald Trump was a businessman in New York. He's a contractor. You know, he's building buildings. You got to deal with the mob because they control the unions and stuff and contractors. So that's like, you know, you can't now, but Roy Cohn was a prominent mob lawyer. And there was a guy who groomed Donald Trump. There's like Saul Alinsky, notorious community organizer connected to the mob. He groomed Hillary. Only Madden, I guess, had a hand with Bill Clinton. Ain't nothing but a gangster party. So don't tell me about one being more corrupt than the other. You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't tell me about that. Because y'all not students of history like that. If you say, well, you know, this one's a saint, this one's a sinner, they all saints and sinners at the same time. It's the virgin whore complex. It's a virgin whore complex when it comes to American history, American politics, everything in America. It's a virgin whore complex. So let's talk about Jack Johnson being a secret agent and a revolutionary. Because Dr. Gerald Holmes told me about this, and the white dude in his clip, he talked about it. Like I said, I believe Eddie Murphy's character in the I Spy movie was based on Jack Johnson being a double agent and a boxer. I'm trying to see. There's a lot of people named. There's a musician named Jack Johnson. I don't care for his music. I don't really listen to him. The only Jack Johnson we respect is the boxer. Trying to find. And you know, Dick Rick talked about how the movie King Kong was about Jack Johnson, right? I'm trying to find some information about him being a secret agent during World War I. Like I said, he was an inventor. I'm just trying to look up something. See, when he had the Club Deluxe, it was a black and tan nightclub where blacks and whites could mingle, but only Madden made it into a whites only patron place. Jack Johnson, like, I guess Kanye West of his time too. They said Johnson's behavior was looked down upon some in the African American community, especially by the black scholar Booker T. Washington, who said it is unfortunate that a man with money should use it in a way to injure his own people in the eyes of those who are seeking to uplift his race and improve its conditions. I wish to say emphatically that Jack Johnson's actions did not meet my personal approval, and I'm sure that they do not meet with the approval of the color race. This is funny coming from Booker T. Washington. I'm gonna tell you why. It's a New York Times article from the 19 teens. Booker T. Washington was almost lynched in Central Park. I believe it was Central Park. Look it up, y'all. Dick Gregory talked about it. I talked about it. It's online. Booker T. Washington was accused of being a peeping Tom in New York City. Somebody claimed that he was in a building, predominantly white people, that he was like watching white women, and they chased him out the building into the park, and they almost lynched him. They almost killed Booker T. Washington in New York. They almost lynched him. This wasn't Alabama where Tuskegee's at. This is New York City. Like I said, anywhere south of Canada is Mississippi, like Malcolm X said. And never forget that the mayor of New York City wanted to secede from the Union with the South. The mayor of New York City at the time of the Civil War wanted to secede from the Union because they made so much money exporting the cotton out the country for the South. So y'all, it's a lot of stuff. And then Central Park, of course, was that, Seneca Village, whatever you call it. All the black folks, they evicted the black people, eminent domain, all that. You understand what I'm saying? So Booker T. Washington, it's funny that he talked about the character of Jack Johnson when he was accused of being a people Tom, spying on white women and almost getting lynched in New York City. That's a New York Times article about it. It came out. If you don't trust me, just look up the New York Times article. Look at you watching almost lynch in Central Park. Yeah, but he went to prison with messing with white women. That's about it. And it was consensual. And people say he ain't like black women. Well, according to Johnson's 1927 autobiography, he married Mary Austin, a black woman from Galveston, Texas. No record exists of this marriage. While in Philadelphia in 1903, Johnson met Clara Kerr, a black prostitute. He liked black and white prostitutes. He was a Dr. King when he came. I had a dream. One white prostitute and a black prostitute. I had a dream. Okay. Now they're trying to destroy King's legacy. That's supposed to be coming in 2027. Y'all be prepared for that. Y'all gonna be like, oh, I can't believe they said King did this. I can't believe the King did this. I don't care because Dr. King died for things that way bigger than menage a trois and stuff like that. While in Philadelphia in 1903, Johnson met Clara Kerr, a black prostitute. According to Johnson's autobiography, Kerr left him for Johnson's friend, a racehorse trainer named William Bryant. They stole Johnson's jewelry and clothing when they left. Johnson tracked the couple down and had Kerr arrested on burglary charges. Johnson and Kerr reconciled for a while before she left him again. Okay, so he had two black wives at first. Like, Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier was married to black women at first, and then they got the white chocolate. But anyway. Oh, I gotta see now. You know what? I guess I close out tonight, but this is why I gotta have Dr. Gerald Horne on the show. Dr. Gerald Horne wrote about 50,000 books, man. This man, one of the most brilliant scholars in the country. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're purple, black, white, yellow, brown. Dr. Gerald Horne is a brilliant scholar. And he the one told me about Jack Johnson being a secret agent during World War I, working with Pancho Villa, trying to start a revolution to free black people, colored people of the world, something like that. But we'll have him on the show. Now, and I'm gonna read a disclaimer. I'll look through the chat room. I'm about to wrap it up. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. You could have been anywhere. Could be getting ready for some football. But remember, every day is a game 7 when it comes to the game of life. Today could be the day you go home to your heavenly Father, whatever you believe or don't believe. But thank y'all so much. This has actually been fun. I'm finished this beef stew I got over here. The feeder needs to be fed. Man, you know what? I get a lot of walking in my job and stuff, and just working out. If I run like 2.5 miles or 4 miles a day, I'm also getting 10,000 plus miles. Steps, 10,000 steps plus just working. And so I walk. I get about 20,000 steps in 5 days out the week. On the weekends, I kind of slow down. I manage around 10,000. But on the weekdays, I get 20,000 steps in. And this is a guy who had a hole in his foot a year ago. He had issues with my big toes recently, and I'm getting it in. So don't, be kind to yourself. Show grace, but also, step your game up. That's what I've been doing. So anyway, I hope I made some of y'all pissed off, and I hope I caused some cognitive dissonance with this podcast. Oh, I feel so alive. But anyway, disclaimer: the views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for plethora of reasons. We're about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge and decide on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. Yeah, I gotta be at work at 5 o'clock tomorrow, 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. My day isn't done until about 8 o'clock at night when it comes to work. But I'm still trying to work hard for my people. And I'm gonna read one more thing. I'm gonna look at the chat room. I'm gonna scan over it. I thank y'all for it's been a while since I've been on here like this. But I want to read one more thing about Life Path 4. Both Jack Johnson, Donald Trump's Life Path 4. Read from this one right here. No. I'm not gonna do that. It's been fun. I feel like I had a lot of false stars wanting to do shows. I'm glad that we had a chance to do that show on Sunday. Really motivated me to come back on the air with you all to share stuff. Let me read it. Oh, let's read about it. Okay, so like people with 4 as their life number in numerology by date of birth often start expecting discipline and timeliness from others around them. Moreover, when people are not able to cope up with the perseverance that you show, you may become authoritative and impolite, which you may have to keep a check on. You have to realize that not everyone can match up to your pace, and that every individual may take their own time to grasp the information and act accordingly. You, as a Life Path 4 numerology, are someone who is quite sensible and pragmatic in your essence, which usually gives you an opportunity to start working at a younger age. Therefore, you surely have a chance to earn some good money right from the beginning, and you'll be able to handle it. But it is important to be adaptable to different circumstances as well by making changes in the way you think or approach a particular thing. It is necessary to accept changes, be less cautious, and try to be more flexible when adapting to changes, which will also help you manage new opportunities and learn from them. Okay, and Donald Trump and Jack Johnson, they've been married several times to white women. So we all know that. So let me go into the chats right quick. We got over 285 comments. Interesting. Let's see, y'all interested in the chat. I appreciate you receiving it. So y'all really active in here. So I thank y'all for being active in the chats and for keeping the conversation going, being courteous. Okay. Yeah, you had a good chat. Okay, well, thank y'all so much for tuning in again when you fit in. This is your guy, Brother Ron, R2C2H to the artivist. I'm signing off for tonight. Know in the words of Great Duke we love you madly. And y'all keep on producing and pushing. One love. Ta-da!